Hey everyone, it's Pixelade here. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I don't have any more tweets for you guys. I took a deep dive today into the Discord server for Paralives, where Roxanne was discussing potential game features and answering player questions. A little disclaimer, not every feature discussed in this video is a confirmed feature coming to the game. Some features are just a topic of discussion for discussion purposes. In the last video, Leia made a point on Twitter stating that they will put most of their main focus towards free updates. In no way, shape, or form did they confirm that there won't be any packs. It was just stated that most of the focus will most likely go to free updates, at least at first. That could change though, since the game is still in the early development stages. In the Discord server, Roxanne posts, "Our philosophy so far is that DLCs should focus on impactful and complex additions to the game." So basically, when you think about it, any type of game addition that you wouldn't really consider super impactful or complex could be added either in a free update or should be in the base game. I don't know exactly what could be considered impactful or complex, and I'm putting that in quotes because that's subjective. Everyone has a different opinion on what they think is complex. Some may say that occults fall into that category, vampires, zombies, werewolves, fairies, witches, and some may say that those types of life states should be included in the base game for free. But it does sound like in the long run there will be paid DLC, but most likely not at first. Poopsie022 posts a question asked to Alex about story progression in the Discord server. Katie asks, "Do you aim to include a sense of story progression within the game? The reason I cannot enjoy The Sims 4 is because the unplayed Sims around your active household don't develop relationships, move up in their careers, get married, have kids, etc. unless you are the one playing them and making them do that stuff. The world feels so much more alive and realistic when the non-playable characters can develop stories of their own without our input. I know that these types of things can be achieved in The Sims 4, but only with mods." Alex responds, "I aim for non-playable characters to be able to get promotions, have kids, find partners, etc. So there will be an element of story progression in the base game. This was confirmed a while back, but I definitely hope that it is elevated from what we currently have in The Sims 4. And it would be nice to see some sort of way we can alter the story progression settings." One tiny thing I didn't notice in the Maggie's Loft promo video. Meme Man posts, "Is it just me or is there a little fake mouse for the cat to play?" And Roxanne confirms it is. Obviously we know cats and dogs are confirmed, but we got a little sneak peek of a cat toy in the video, something I totally missed. I also missed the little piggy bank on the shelf. I don't know how I missed that. Roxanne also quickly confirms that Maggie from the Maggie's Loft promo video will be a townie in the game. And diving back into story progression a little bit, Galandria on Discord asks, question, "I was wondering if the character in your family, which you did not select, will he have autonomy to the point of getting a job by himself or getting married, and among other things?" Roxanne responds, "Story progression applies to the families you're not currently playing. Nothing is set in stone for active household members as of yet, though it'd be interesting to have a setting for different levels of autonomy." It's something I really don't think about often, but I would like to see that. Not even thinking outside of your household. When you're playing with your family, your current family, those other paras doing more than just things around the house, like going to sleep when their energy is low and eating when they're hungry, going to the bathroom when their bladder is low, doing bigger things would be pretty cool, and doing them on their own. Finding a job, getting married, getting divorced. It would be nice to have like a level that you can select if you don't want those big things to happen by themselves within your household. Judging by this screenshot, it also appears as story progression will have an on-off switch, so it will be optional, I believe. Nothing is set in stone, that's just what it's sounding like at this time. William Ari asks, "Does that mean if you have an unplayed household, they could get married or have their own families?" Roxanne responds, "They could if you choose to use story progression." Another user asked, "Can I choose to not have story progression and thus jump in between households and play them in The Sims 2 without worrying about time passing?" Roxanne responds, "Yes. It's important for us to accommodate these kinds of differences in play styles, and that's very important. Not everyone plays the game the same way." We've learned that modding is going to be available in Paralives, but to get a little more detailed, Roxanne has confirmed that script mods are not planned as of now, but we'd like to provide many modding tools. A bit concerning, actually. I know many mods, for example, Wicked Whims, Extreme Violence, those types of mods that add lots of new gameplay and interactions, those are script mods. It doesn't sound like those kinds of mods can be made for Paralives. Right now just sounding like clothing assets, objects, etc. But hopefully that changes down the line. In the last video, we talked about the Steam Workshop, a great place to download mods. Roxanne posts on the Discord server, the Steam Workshop will be available for that purpose. It'll allow people to share not only characters and lots, but all kinds of CC. So it's not just for CC. You know how with The Sims 4 we have the gallery, mods, custom content, and in-game generated content like paras and houses can be uploaded and exchanged via the workshop. Up next, Roxanne discusses how personality traits could work in Paralives, and they seem really complex. She posts, "To be honest guys, I don't see why personality traits should always be exclusively good or bad. Often something that is a strength in one situation can be a drawback in another. For example, someone who is very spontaneous could be more creative and good at thinking on their feet, but disorganized and unable to plan much ahead. As in an aspect of someone's character, not the Sims 3 or 4 trait system in particular. We're still discussing how we want to do personalities, and we are unlikely to just copy a pre-existing system. Not every personality trait is exclusively good or bad. Honestly, any personality trait can have pros and cons, and it would be really awesome to see how those pros and cons of a specific personality trait impact the personality traits of other paras in their pros and cons." Roxanne then states, "Same goes for opposite traits. It doesn't have to be good thing versus bad thing. An extrovert is not better than an introvert and vice versa. They simply have different needs, more socialization versus more time for self-reflection." In the next screenshot, Roxanne gives another example of how this could be implemented. She posts, "An extreme optimist who always aim to see the bright side of things can help cheer you out. Or they can be completely tone deaf. A very driven perfectionist who always does their best work, but is not a team player as they judge others as harshly as themselves." Stuff like that. I know it's a little hard to wrap your mind around, but this kind of thing is just brilliant. And that's why I love making these videos and just discussing these kinds of things with you, because I want to get your input on it and see what you think about this type of depth being added into a game like this. Lorna posts, "It's actually the opposite for me. Most introverts I've known have been way more likable than most extroverts I met," which is actually true, I could say the same. "So maybe a para's social awareness could depend on other traits and not just on whether they're an introvert/extrovert." Roxanne responds, "Yeah, that shouldn't drive how nice/mean or smooth/awkward someone is." Great points. And lastly, Roxanne states, "Introvert versus extrovert is only an example of a possible personality trait. It surely shouldn't be the only thing there. I think personal talents, interests, dreams, etc. could be separate from the basic personality part of the character." Purple Cat brings up one of the first original screenshots of Paralives gameplay. In this screenshot, you actually can see parafolk. Roxanne confirms these are very old placeholders. Actual parafolk will be much more detailed, no worries. You can see them on the bottom left and bottom right, very low poly, but as we've learned recently, the game has been upgraded to mid poly, so they're going to look much better. And we've even seen how the hair for the paras looks, and it looks so much better than it used to. Meme Man on the Paralives Discord post, "I watched a video about some Easter eggs, secrets, and references in The Sims 4. I started thinking about what could be referenced in Paralives, like movies, products, books, games, etc. Roxanne replies, "Well, we're likely gonna end up doing small references to random media we like. Something fun to look out for when the game launches." A small piece of information here, but figured I would include it for you guys. Roxanne posts, "You'll be able to make your parafolk quite thick. So with a combination of push-pull mechanics and sliders, you will be able to give your parafolk the butt of their dreams." We talked about gradual aging in the last video and how it was a possibility. Roxanne is actually spilling a little more tea on that idea in the Paralives Discord, posting, "Gradual aging has nothing to do with the length of lifespans, by the way. It would only mean that instead of suddenly transforming from a child to a teenager, the character grows a little taller every day between the two milestones." Oh my gosh. She then posts, "If we can pull it off, gradual aging would be easier for us in the long term. It'll mean everyone can use the same animations, share clothing, meshes, etc." Nothing confirmed though, but Roxanne sounds very hopeful that this could end up being a feature. Tropes brings up a great question about the sea lots. Going back to that picture I showed you a minute or so ago. Tropes asks, asks, okay, is yacht sort of thing a lot you build on the water or can it move? Roxanne responds, at first it'll likely be a static lot. So I think the yacht is kind of just a stationary object. It doesn't sound like it can move, at least not right away. I do remember at some point in development, boats were confirmed. I don't know if the boats can move though, or if the boats they're referring to as one of the confirmed features is the same thing as the yacht we saw in one of the earlier pictures. Tropes posted, Alex mentioning the problem of resizing absurdly large doors made me wonder. Is there a limit to how we can resize things? Like, can we make a dining table stretch to absurd proportions over the longest lot possible? Roxanne responds, there will probably be, if only to keep people from crashing their games. And that's understandable. I know in The Sims 4 you can resize things. I don't even know if there's a limit because one time I took a toilet and enlarged it like 8,000% its size, and literally the toilet was as big as the neighborhood. Yes, you can do that, and it's hilarious. New Yorker guy asks, are all three of you working on Parafolk design? Or how is the work split up among you all? Roxanne responds, as of now, the design aspect is pretty much done. We are now working on the assets themselves. Everyone pitched in with what they wanted the characters to look like, but now it's Leia and I working on the models and textures while Alex works on the mechanical / technical side of Paramaker mode. Wanted to include this for you guys because I know there are a select few out there that want to know process on development. Just trying to keep you guys 100% up to date. Jeremiah asks about jungles and parrots. Roxanne had something to say. She responds, hopefully one day we can add pet birds, though it'll have to be post-launch. I could definitely see that being a feature that's added in a future patch update. This next picture gives you an idea of the difference between low, mid, and high poly modeling. At first, Paralives was a low poly game. That would be demonstrated by the mannequin on the left. Since the game has recently been upgraded to a mid poly game, giving us better graphics, it'll be more like the mannequin in the middle now. So models will be a little bit smoother and textures will be much better. We know that color wheels will be coming, but Roxanne also confirms color swatches will be available, and also the hex code is editable as well. So you can import custom color codes to get that exact color you're looking for. Up next, the topic of natural disasters was brought up. Roxanne posts, people ask for these kinds of things without explaining the kind of gameplay they'd like to see. She states a blizzard would be one thing, but a tsunami has much more destructive implications, for example. I think those kinds of things should be left out of the game. Tsunamis, tornadoes. Roxanne gives an example, no electricity for a few days is a fun challenge. Your town is destroyed in a tsunami, half of your folk died. I feel would only frustrate most people, and she does have a point. Going back to personality traits, Roxanne posts, here's what I had for stuff personality traits / aspects could influence if you'd like some inspiration. Keep in mind, nothing is confirmed, nothing is denied. This is mainly just brainstorming and discussion. Special actions, animations, and behaviors, their needs, more or less socialization or physical activity, how they prefer to fulfill them. A bouncy castle is more fun for childish, active people. Their talents and the skills they struggle with, easier for a creative person to excel in artistic skills, harder for an airhead to focus on heavy book learning. Their goals, aspirations, and desires. The way they build relationships. Someone with no sense of humor won't appreciate being constantly told jokes. Someone who is withdrawn is harder to befriend. What events are impactful to them? Oh my god, this is brilliant. What do you guys think about this? I swear, Parafolk Mind is about to be so complex that I won't even be able to wrap my mind around their mind. I'm gonna be playing these characters and not know anything about them, literally. I'm gonna have to get to know them the same way other paras are gonna have to get to know them. But that truly is like a real personality. It's not just 3 traits thrown onto a character and voila, you have a personality. It doesn't work like that. This is the level of depth that we've been needing for a very long time. To continue on that topic, both systems on their own have some issues. Scales are good as basic universal system, but having only a few scales doesn't allow much flavor, and they don't feel meaningful when they have too many different levels. The middle ones end up bland. Traits are good for flavor, but make characters feel lacking in other everyday aspects of personality. It's more difficult to make each one impactful and interplay with others in interesting ways. And to close things off, Roxanne posts, thus I think having a mix / synthesis of both would be interesting. For example, having a few scales for universal axis of personality, for example, very introverted, introverted, ambivert, extroverted, and very extroverted. Each step can have a few special actions, and the number used for calculations of needs, skill gains, could change more gradually among the scale. They should remain general enough to affect many aspects of the character's life and unique enough to not overlap. Oh my god, this is deeper than I thought it would be. Then a few more choices from a bank of traits, possibly themselves having adjustable intensity, for example, a bumbling mess, awkward, charming, extremely charismatic, shy, flirty, etc. They could be more specific and flavorful, affect less areas but be more involved in those they do. They could still weigh into some calculations, for example, a para with no sense of humor, not liking to joke around even if they are extroverted and friendly. Oh my god, these types of things, I swear to you, I would never get bored of this game because the possibilities are endless. You can really mold their personality to a T. This just takes dotting your I's and crossing your T's to a whole new level. Well, that's all I got for this video, guys. This is actually some very detailed information and just the thought process behind what could be added into the game. I'll have a link to the Discord posted in the comment section below, and also a link to the Paralives playlist so you can binge all of my Paralives videos so you can stay up to date on all the latest news and info for the game and the game's development. Join the Discord, guys, join the conversation, ask questions, suggest features. We're gonna make this game literally the best life simulation game ever. No word on when it's releasing, probably within the next couple of years, though I don't want to speculate because there still is no time frame for the date. But I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you all next time in my next video. So long, guys.